This is episode 6 of the High Dev Perspective podcast. How is everybody? What the fuck? Okay, so we've now ended week 2 of this Mercury Retrograde, and I'm a little bit better than I was last week. There's been major breakthroughs. Here's one that I want to share with you. So imagine repeating a cycle that you've done in the past, but now you're doing it again at a higher timeline. And because you're doing it at a higher timeline, you're not aware that you're doing an old pattern or in an old past. During this time of isolation, I have been called to do a lot of shadow work. One of the biggest breakthroughs that took me back was the fact that I was still repeating old patterns that I thought that I had healed or let go of. But because I'm in a different timeline of my life, I'm still repeating the same pattern, but I'm not aware of it because of the timeline that I'm in. I realized that after doing shadow work that, bitch, you're still doing the same thing. I am somebody who have learned a lot of my lessons through life externally. And I'm now in this space where I'm really owning and honing in on myself and truly trusting myself at greater lengths than I've ever done before. And because I had this breakthrough, I felt the need to reach out to somebody immediately and explain to them that I just had this breakthrough and here's what it was. I need to stop doing that. Because, and it's not in a space of just keeping stuff to myself. No, take that back. It is, I just need to understand and understand that it's okay to just keep certain things to myself. I just felt this urging desire to just call, my sister or one of my friends and be like, guess what I just learned about myself? And the reason why I do that is because there is some type of underlying validation that I seek from others. Because I'm now aware of it, I've always been aware of it, but because now I'm fully aware of it, I remember when I was getting ready to grab the phone, the first thing my higher self said to myself was, why are you picking up the phone? Why do you have the need to tell them what you just learned? Why can't you just keep this information to yourself? And then I sat and broke that down. Okay, well, why? Why do I do that? And then it came down to the overall answer was the fact that I just needed this sense of validation. I needed to hear from somebody else that I was doing a good job. Why do I need to hear from somebody else that I'm doing a good job? Why can't I just praise myself in these moments of breakthroughs? I'm pacing back and forth in my house trying to figure out like, oh my God. And then I'm also mad at myself too, right? I'm also mad at myself because I don't know, it's this thing in my psyche, my personal psyche. I think that I'm just very hard on myself. And like I said, I was battling whatever it is that I was experiencing in that moment. So what I ended up doing was I took myself outside and I went on a walk. This was late at night that I had this breakthrough. So I went on a walk and I just had a conversation with myself. I had a conversation with myself, my higher self, my guides, my ancestors, God, everybody, my entire team. And I just kept hearing to myself, my higher self kept saying to me, like, why are you so hard on yourself, Debonair? Like, The world is already hard enough on you. Why do you have this need to just be so hard on yourself? It's like you want to slap your hand, or you want to put yourself in time out. Like, it's okay. It's okay. Like, forgive yourself. And these are things that I have to continuously remind myself during this journey, because again, I've broken free from the matrix. And I think one of the biggest things is when you break free from this matrix, your thoughts, your emotions, everything is just all over the place. So that's why they stress having internal and external balance. Everything is balance. Again, everything is polarity. So there's balance within your external, and there's balance within your internal. And so I had to just really remind myself again, Debonair, it's okay. It's stop being so hard on yourself, and reminding you that, the world is already hard enough. So don't be so hard. Understand that, this is a major breakthrough. You learn from it. How can you move on from it? How can you forgive yourself? How can you learn from this mistake that you've made? How can you move forward from it? So these are the things that I was going through during this isolation period. I was mad at myself because obviously I am one who genuinely enjoys the process of evolution. I am one who genuinely enjoys growth. So in my mind, growing is moving on and learning from past. So when I realized that I was fulfilling a pattern from a past timeline of my journey, I was really hard on myself. I was so hard on myself. Like I said, I'm someone who's like, okay, I should only learn one time and then like it's done. I shouldn't be doing the same patterns over and over again. I have to understand that this is going to happen. And I have to understand, and again, as I'm saying, I have to, I have to, and I will, moving forward, forgive myself when I do pick up a past pattern or a past experience, because the greatest thing that I have now is the awareness that I am doing it again. So it's one thing to just continuously do this pattern over and over and not be aware of it, because like that's just, that's absolutely horrible. But I'm not in that space of my journey anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm truly, truly aware of all of the patterns that I've been doing. And even when I'm not aware of it in the moment of it happening, I take my steps back, I dissect it, and I will figure it out. And I always figure it out. So because I need to be thankful and I have to give myself grace. Again, this is it's like I need like a bulletin board to put all of these words down. Grace, patience, compassion, forgiveness, understanding, and understanding, and affirming myself that, it is okay. These are just things that are a continuation when you're free from the matrix, and like, you have full control over your emotions. And it's just this true, strong level of balance. And I think that's one of many things that we're going to talk about in this episode that I have learned so far in week 2 of this self-isolation Mercury Retrograde week 2 period. We just had our solar eclipse, the 8th of April. I was one who did not participate in the festivities. I think here in Los Angeles, the eclipse was happening around like 10, between 10 and like 11, between 10 and 12 in the afternoon. I didn't have a desire. I don't know too much about, okay, let me rephrase that. When I don't know too much about information, or if I haven't done my research regarding what something is, so I didn't do enough research on the solar eclipse. Funny enough, I didn't. Whereas I would do anything on like the full moon or a retrograde, but this is like a breaking point in life. But yeah, no, I didn't do a lot of information. I saw a lot of information on TikTok regarding the solar eclipse. There's a lot of negative and positive regarding it. So because I didn't do the research and I didn't know what was going on, I chose to stay at home and watch the festivities online. I can share that since we've had this eclipse, I think it's a combination of both the eclipse and the retrograde, but my devices literally after April 8th just started to malfunction like heavily. My cell phone was tweaking. My computer was tweaking. I remember I was trying to do my episode 1 of the podcast, and I recorded for those who like to watch it on YouTube. And I was not able to record 2 of the segments. Even today, I was filming a TikTok, and in the middle of my video, music started to come on. And I just allowed it because I'm just like, all right, either the government's doing its thing or it's just a part of the malfunction of technology during this time. Long story short, my electronic devices have been acting up heavily. And like I said, this is just part of the retrograde. What I can say is, since we've had this eclipse, the sun has been very illuminating. And like I said, I do get channeled messages, and the messages that I've been receiving from self to self is to experience some of this sunlight. So I have been outdoors quite a bit during the day to soak up some of the sun. And one thing that I can share is, like I say, I talk a lot about polarity. Everything is polarity. Oh, hold on. My chinchilla is, if you can hear that, my chinchilla is eating his house right now. Give me a second. Okay, I'm back. I'm going to add that to the show because this is the chaos that is happening within my reality. And this isn't, this is minor chaos, but these are divine things that are supposed to happen. So like, even in this experience, what did I just learn? Well, my little man, AKA my chinchilla, he's up between 9 p.m. and like 9 a.m. I am filming this podcast at night. I have already been told, yo, you need to start filming your podcast during the day, because when he comes up and like he wakes up, he gives 0 fucks. And and I said this to myself too. I was like, you know what? I don't really have time to do it right now during the day, but I will film it tonight. And here I am doing it now, and this is what the outcome is. So I did it to myself, essentially. I did this to myself. But anyway, what was I talking about? Everything is in polarity, right? The sun is a masculine energy. The moon is a feminine energy. And what I've been experiencing during this time is that this sun that I've been soaking up these past couple of days have really been doing a number internally on myself. And, like I said, my internal and everybody's internal is a moon, feminine energy. Our outer is a masculine external energy. What am I getting at? To land the plane, what I'm trying to say is some of the sun that I've been soaking up has really been giving me a lot of clarity within my masculine energy, as far as like the logic and the affirming that I need to be having for myself. And, like I said, I am in this self isolation period. And it's just a lot of clarity, internal, everything. This entire experience that I've been experiencing right now is a lot of internal clarity in both my masculine and feminine energies. And I've been experiencing and loving these new rays that are coming online within, this reality that we're experiencing. I don't know if anybody else feels the same way when it comes to the sun, but like major clarity, major downloads. I feel like, the sun, I encourage everybody to get out and soak up some of these rays, because there's a lot of upgrades within these rays that I'm experiencing. And it's been giving a lot of clarity. I feel as though the sun and the moon, well, the moon is gone now, but the day and the night, during my day, it's a lot of clarity, right? Tons of it. A lot of affirmations, a lot of affirming myself, a lot of inner knowing, a lot of just building, building. And then during this night, I find that I've been crying a lot, but it's not just like any regular cry. It's a lot of tears of purification, tears of letting go of things that I no longer need to be holding on to. And so I think, again, another reason why I have been called into this isolation period, because my emotions have been in a space where they're really trying to balance themselves out, and as an element of, an earth, a star seed, earth angel, I'm an empath. I am an empath at the end of the day. I just like to call myself an empath. As a person who does feel heavily, I'm loving that I'm in this space where I am building my armor, my internal armor, and letting go of things that no longer need, that serve me during this time. And I guess it's just a rewarding part of this experience, another rewarding part of this journey. This is why I said that I'm okay. Week 2, I'm okay now, because like I now I'm in it, and I'm like, okay, so now I know what you're doing and how you're working with me. So now let's just work together. So, I told you in week 1 that I'm going to allow whatever to happen. And now I'm in, week 2, and I'm just like, oh, okay. So now you're building me. You're building up my armor. You're putting up a stronger shield than I already have. I did this last year. Last year I went and surrendered at a full time. How do I say this? I surrendered full time, and I was just coming online and really knowing a lot about thyself. Okay, so it's been a year now. I've done the internal work. I've been doing the internal work for a year now. So now in this present moment, it's the same thing, but it's like, okay, before we really put you, out there, we got to there's a couple of things that we need you to let go of. There's a couple of things that we need you to be aware of within yourself. So we're going to put you in this internal isolation area. Take this time to do some shadow work and really build yourself up, because listen, this is your year. This is your time. So now I'm in this space of awareness and knowing that. So I've just been allowing it, and it's been so rewarding. So rewarding. I can't stress this enough, because it's just built me into a warrior in this present moment. And I'm just very grateful to be built as that. I am being built to truly lead my reality. And I say that because this period that I'm experiencing, this self-isolation period, is really asking of me to truly pour into myself at a higher level now. And because of that, I am doing so. It's asking me to truly listen to myself, truly trust myself, truly love myself, truly honor myself. Now, it's one thing to love myself, trust myself, honor myself, and value myself in one version of a timeline. But because I'm in a higher timeline, I'm being called to sit with myself and build that level of trust, honor, love, and forgiveness of myself in this timeline. And it makes sense now. I've been doing that, and I now know what that looks like. I can honestly say that doing it now feels so different. It feels so different from any of the past realities that I've had. I'm sorry. It feels different from any of the past realities. It feels different from any of the past timelines. You know, it's one thing to always say it, right? But now I'm in a space where, like, I have no other choice but to do it. I have no other choice but to do it. I'm not reaching out to anybody. I'm not having conversation with anybody. I'm literally waking up to myself, talking to myself, doing things on my own, like pure self-isolation. I kid you not. And it's so necessary. And it's very necessary, especially in my journey, and especially like with where I'm at within my reality. And I just realized that what God, the divine, the universe, what I'm experiencing in this moment is that you're just truly building me up to be a leader in my reality. And because of that, I fully accept this. I talk about a lot how I've been having these inner, now outer dialogue conversations with myself. I truly call it a one-on-one. And because like I'm truly talking, listening, receiving, interpreting, delivering, and what's the other word where you like rephrase? Anyway, I'm responding back to myself. You know, like I'm really having the conversation. One of the methods that I use is before I go to bed, I sit and I reflect on everything that I've done throughout the day. And I do takeaways. I ask myself, what did I learn from this experience? You know, 9 times out of 10, I'm having conversation with other people. So I ask myself, what did I learn from this interaction, this experience, this exchange of energy between myself and whoever it is that I was having conversation with? And I break it down, you know, and I find moments within that where that I can help. I pray that I helped them, whoever the receiver was, but I also take in moments that I can allow for me to build myself up. Because I'm not having conversation with people right now in this present moment, there's a lot of takeaways with self. So I'm doing these day-to-day interactions with myself. And before I go to bed, I also do the same thing that I did with others. Well, what did I do today? What did I learn about this interaction that I did by myself? Like, what can I take away from that? And so that's why I say that I'm in this space of really, truly building myself up. Because like I said in the beginning of this episode, I tend to have a lot of external growth. I learn from external. Like I learn from, you know, my reality. But now I'm learning from my internal vessel. And that's just where I'm at in this process. And when I tell you, I'm really thankful. I'm really grateful. I'm honored to have this beautiful art of listening to myself. And I find that I'm building myself up with this level of listening because it's truly allowing me to trust myself, you know? And I encourage anybody again to sit with yourself and really have these conversations out loud and really listen to yourself. And you're just forming a connection. You're building your connection with yourself, and that's what I'm doing in this moment. I'm building a true bond at a higher timeline with myself, and just really trusting that my choices, my actions, they are all in alignment. There's a lot that needs to be learned through this experience with Mercury retrograde. And I think another one tends to be the regulation of emotions, internal and external, and especially within the growth of someone's journey. And what I'm experiencing is that, like, I'm considering this period of my time, I guess, like a spiritual tune up, because it's allowing me to regulate my emotions from the timeline that I'm in now in a way where I can continuously be balanced with it. I'm realizing that because, like I said, there's a lot of purging that I'm experiencing. There's a lot of clarity that I'm also experiencing. And, it's one thing to have it every now and then, but right now there's just this pivotal moment to, sit with yourself and really just uncover, like making sure that this part of your area is okay. Okay, so here in this area right now, you're still focusing on this. So we're going to ask that you remove this out of your reality, or consider putting this into your reality now. So that's why I call it like this spiritual tune-up, because they're making sure they're checking all areas within your reality and in your life, internal and external, to see if you're still keeping yourself in a balanced state. And that's what I'm experiencing. There's also this heavy layer of protection. There's this level of protection, and I find that discernment is now being built up in my reality in ways that I guess I just wasn't, I don't want to say equipped, because I've always been equipped, in ways where I just wasn't built for it. And now I'm in the space of truly having discernment for a lot of things now, and keeping a lot of information to myself. And it's not in a way to just like make myself better than anybody or anything like that. No, I'm just really honoring myself. Therefore, I just going to have a little bit more discernment, picking and choosing information now within a higher timeline on what I should share and what I shouldn't share with people, and what I should just keep to myself. And that's okay. I think that's beautiful, because you're just in this space of truly honoring yourself. I talked about how I experienced this same isolation about a year ago. It was new then, because that was me entering this phase of my life and my journey at a surrendering state. Whereas now, I'm surrendered. This is year one now, a full surrender. Like I said, I've been doing this since 2020, but like fully surrendering in this state it's going on a year now. And I'm now realizing that this is another level of spiritual warfare for me, because as I'm going through it, I felt like I was walking through fire. It was uncomfortable then, because I didn't know what the hell I was getting myself into. Whereas now, because I know that this is what is to come out of this experience to build me as a warrior, that I was going to have to walk through the fire. And I fully accepted it. My head has been so high in the clouds because of all of the information that I've received, but I've also had to put my feet on the ground. I know I say this a lot, but I had to put my feet on the ground because I am now in a space of grounding. And I know that I need to maintain and stay grounded during this time as I'm being shed. There's layers of me now that are being shed, and there's versions of me that are being now removed, and aspects of me that are now being added. So it's not for the weak. It's not, and it's not easy. It's hard because there's times where you're literally just like, why? But like, why? Perfect example. Like, I was beating myself up earlier over the breakthrough that I had. In my mind, I thought I was done with that era. I thought I was done repeating those cycles, and it's like, you don't want to repeat a cycle, because the ultimate, you want wish fulfillment. That's the whole goal of this whole journey, is wish fulfillment, and like to be at an abundant timeline. So when I found myself realizing that I was doing old patterns from past cycles, I was so hard on myself. But now I'm realizing you can't be hard on yourself, because it was, first off, it was minor. It wasn't that big of a deal. It really wasn't. But I can't be hard on myself during this time, because like, this is what I asked for. This is exactly what I asked for, and I'm walking through the fire, and I'm going to get out of it, because at the end of the day, this too shall pass. This whole experience will pass. And now I'm starting to realize that this will happen again. This period, there will be a time where I will have to go back into isolation. And I'm going to have to build myself up, because I'm only in this cycle, in this timeline. There are going to be many timelines. As long as I am present and I'm here living and existing in this reality, there are going to be multiple breakthroughs. So now, having this clear understanding that this will be a ongoing theme, not like every day, but this will be, you will have to go through this again. You'll have to go through this test again, to build your armor, your shield, to build it up higher and higher and higher. And now I'm in the space of just having this awareness of that. And so I just take it day by day. I really do. I just take it day by day, and I affirm. There's so much affirming now happening in these moments, this present moment, with just letting myself know that I'm going to learn from this experience. I'm going to grow from this experience. I'm going to be better than what I was from this experience. Like, it's a constant affirming of self, especially during this time. And if there's anything that I could recommend, I encourage to just continue to affirm yourself during this time, and understand that this too shall pass. It will pass. There needs to be this high level of awareness when it comes to this path, because there's a lot of maintaining mental and spiritual health along this journey. And that's why I encourage mindful practices that work well for you, whether it be meditation, affirming yourself, yoga, an overall balance of the mind, body, soul, spirit, and shadow, and continuously adding these values to your daily practice to keep yourself in a balanced state. As I sit in this discomfort experience that I'm clearly experiencing, I encourage you to do the same, because there is a silver lining throughout this entire experience, and it's going to allow for us to become the greatest and the best versions of ourselves. That is going to wrap up today's episode, episode 6, Mercury Retrograde Recap, week 2. My mother would always say this, and this ties into today's episode. We've covered a lot of ground. And, we've talked a little bit about internal breakthroughs, the Mercury retrograde, and the ups and downs that we are experiencing, trusting and listening within ourselves, the spiritual warfare, and balancing and protecting our energy. I really look forward to what is to come on the other side of this. I think I said that in episode 5, but I'm dead serious when I say that, because now I'm feeling a little bit lighter, because now I'm in it, and now I'm really coasting through it, and now I'm getting the tests and the answers, within the second week of this Mercury retrograde. So I am looking forward to week 3 and hoping that it'll be even more lighter, because now I've built so much more of a stronger armor for myself. So, and I think, like I said, as a silver lining, this experience wants us to come out stronger than ever. So I had to go through the fire, and I feel like I'm entering the end of this fire. We'll see. I don't know. I could just be saying that because I'm really trying to get over it. But I could still be learning a lot more lessons. And then because of that, that's fine. I accept that. But again, I do welcome this level of growth, especially within the journey that I'm at, because I didn't come this far just to come this far and not be happy. And that's no reference to Kim Kardashian. That is just the God honest truth. I truly did not come this far just to come this far and not be happy. All right. That's all the time that I have for this week. Please continue to pour into yourselves as I am doing the same. And happy healing. I'll see you next week. Bye.